Hi guys, and welcome back to mine and Apollo's channel. Isn't he the cutest? So it is daytime and I normally don't disturb him while it's daytime as they are normally sleeping or resting. However, he is out and I could tell he was awake. So although I'm not gonna disturb him or get him out or anything, I figured I could do a video. So I'm still very new to owning a leopard gecko, but it has quickly become a hobby, my passion, that sort of thing. And I research about it every day. I watch all sorts of YouTube videos, follow a bunch of very educated people on social media, and it is just something that I love. Oh, he's like, I'm out of here. And I just love watching him. And so I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of these little guys, and I just kind of wanted to share the things that I have learned in these short couple months. And I guess I did bug him. Now you have nothing to look at but me. And just some things that I've learned that are good and things that are definitely not so good that maybe you don't know because you've gotten some misinformation, whether it be from the place or the person that you got your gecko from, and just all that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna kind of go around his cage and tell you guys like what he has and the things that are pretty much required for keeping a leopard gecko. It's not as easy as get an aquarium tank and put them in there and give them a mealworm or two. A lot goes into these little guys, believe it or not. You know, they might be very inexpensive at the pet store or even free if you get it from someone. However, getting them set up can be very expensive. I think keeping them is very inexpensive, at least if you just have one. But definitely getting their setup it's gonna cost, some money. And that could obviously range. And then obviously you have to take care of them every day. I come in here multiple times a day. I check on him. I use my infrared thermometer all the time. My kids love to do it and know what the temperatures are in his enclosure, and it just gives me peace of mind. And we finally, it takes a minute, but I mean, if I point it anywhere in there, I can guess within maybe 1 to 2 degrees of what the temperature is going to be, because it's just always the same. So I'll get into that also a little bit later. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was the deep heat projector, which is what is in that black thing. And now I'm having a bit of a brain fog and I forget what the black covering thing is, but that holds the deep heat projector, which screws in there like a bulb. Here, I can show it to you. It's obviously on, so it's probably going to be a little bit, I guess it's not on right this moment, but as you can see, there's like a little loop in there, and that is what heats up, and sometimes it will like glow, not glow enough for the gecko or the reptile to like see it. It's like pretty much low like vision. I'm trying to think of the right word now, but it doesn't disrupt like day and night. Like they can't see it. That's what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way. And you can kind of tell it's starting to heat up because it's cooler up here. But yeah, so this is the deep heat projector by Arcadia. And it's just like the best one out there. It's the best brand. And then the deep heat projector is just the best source of heat you can provide. Not only your leopard gecko, but in this instance, since we're talking about leopard gecko, provide your Leopard Gecko. We also have an under tank mat, a heating pad, I should say, which he came with. And actually, I don't think this is the one he came with, but he did come with one because we adopted him. I think we did buy a new one. However, with the more research I do and with all the times that I check, because we have all of this on a digital like thermostat that like records, and his the probe that goes to his heat mat doesn't even show that it ever even turns on because this deep heat projector is doing all the jobs. So we have the heat mat set to go on when it's 80 degrees, and it just never has to get turned on because the deep heat projector is already doing the job for it. So when he gets his new enclosure, we will not be doing under the tank heating, as I know a lot of the people I follow don't use them anymore as well. So next would be the thermostat. So right here we have the Herbstat. It's the 2, so it can have 2 heat sources plugged in. It can also have lights plugged in, and it's all like programmable. Like you do it on here, but you can also see it like on your phone, which is really nice. And it alerts you, and it also puts out a sound if the temperatures get too high or too low, depending on what you want your temperatures to be. So as you can see on the bottom, that's the heat mat, and it's set for 80 degrees. And then the top is the deep heat projector, and that's set at 90 degrees. And this is dimmable, which is, the way to go, even though there are less expensive options. So if that's not in your budget, you can just get a regular thermostat, but just having any thermostat is like a must because it controls the heat. So you set it to 90, just like in your house, you set it to a degree. If it gets too hot, it turns off. If it gets too cold, it turns on and keeps it at that degree that you set it to. The dimmable ones are nice because they make that transition of getting cooler and getting warmer much more graceful. Like it's not like turn off, turn on, turn off, turn on. It dims, hence the name. And so that's why we chose to get a dimmable one, because they were just very highly recommended. However, they are what I would say is pricey, and I know that there are less expensive just regular thermostats out there, and I just think that if cost is an issue for whatever reason, whether you just don't want to spend that kind of money on your gecko or whatever the reason is, just having one at all is better than not getting one because you think you have to have the most expensive one. And I'm not saying this is the most expensive one, I'm just saying. So definitely thermostat, preferably a dimmable one. Okay, so that is all about the heat, and this is obviously his warm side. And then he has the probe, so you see those black cords. There are 2 of them. One goes just right, and sorry, I don't have a button on my phone to switch it, so I have to do old school and just hold it up. But one of those fake little agaves, his probe is in for the deep heat projector, and then the other one goes down and under the substrate, and it's kind of like in this mouth for the heat mat. But like I said, it never turns on because the deep heat projector does the trick. So yeah, normally, so this is kind of like a little step down. So that's the high point. That normally can get like between 90 and 92, which is still in range. And then that little lower part back there, which is actually one of his favorite places to lay, is anywhere from like, I want to say like, I can look, but like 89 to 90 probably is about what it is. Down here, he also likes to be, and that's normally about like 83 or 84 degrees. Okay. Then something that would be a very beneficial additive. However, I know a lot of people don't use it, but it's like on their list that they want to get it. It's kind of like, I guess you would say like a new up and coming. Like some people you talk to will be like, no, they don't need UVB type of a deal. However, there's just tons of research that shows the benefits of UVB. And I guess I shouldn't say UVB, it's just UV. And then depending on your reptile, you pick what kind of UV you get. So we got the I think it's called the Pro T5 UVB by Arcadia, which is the same brand as the deep heat projector. And it looks like this. I think this is like the 15 inch, maybe it's the 12 inch. We have it on a timer because he's not set up in his like final enclosure that we will be getting soon and making it bioactive and everything. He's having a hard time, not a hard time, but he just sheds more than he should. And from the research I've done, it shows that like he could maybe just be dehydrated. It's not humid enough in his enclosure, which can be a number of reasons why. And so although this can be on for like the daylight hours, so like 10 to 12 hours a day, and that's what I used to have it at, I now just do 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. And that seems to be helping a lot. But the UV, another thing that people may not know or may, think differently is leopard geckos are not nocturnal. That is false. They are crepuscular, which, I didn't know this. I just learned this a couple months ago. But that means that they are most active during dawn and dusk. And they are. Like we have a camera on him at all times. I love watching him. I love knowing what he's doing. I love seeing his activity. Like when I'm not able to just sit here and watch him. And so that is how they are in the wild. They normally chill during the day. They come out and they still get that UV from the dawn and the dusk sunlight. And so it is very beneficial to them to have that. So we have that, but like I said, for now, because I feel like he was shedding too much, maybe signs of some dehydration, and because this, in this setup, the UV is kind of a bit close because this enclosure is very small, that I just think it was like dehydrating him a little too much, where his new enclosure is 4 times the size of this, and obviously the height. And we will build up and all that stuff. There is certain measurements that the heat and the UV need to be from his basking. We'll obviously get all that squared away. But for now, just 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening seems to be fine. We have his water dish, which I've moved his water dish and his humid hide closer to the warm side to help with the humidity levels, and it definitely helped, as well as getting substrate instead of we used to use paper towels, and I wet the substrate, not wet it, I mist the substrate when I know he's gonna shed and stuff, mix it around, gives it more moisture, and that has seemed to help. And then of course just his pure calcium that he has access to and does as he pleases when he needs it. I'll sometimes have a food dish in there, but I normally tongue feed him. But sometimes I'll leave like a couple mealworms. He honestly never eats them, but I just do it just in case. And then he has his just tiny little climbing. He loves to climb. I cannot wait to build his new enclosure and just see him explore. But I can tell he loves to climb, but that's all he has for now. And maybe you don't know this, but leopard geckos are kind of like cats, if you will, they use the restroom like in the same spot every single time, which I've never owned. I mean, I have had a reptile, but it was a desert tortoise who lived outside. But I've never owned a reptile before, so this is just normal to me. But it is very nice, and that's just his spot for some reason. It's just in that corner, and then just easy to clean up. And then this, of course, is his cool hide. Okay, I feel like I kind of rambled, but I'm checking my little notes. Okay, yeah, so I was going to talk about like the different levels like of heat. You kind of want to go from 90 to about room temperature around like 70. And those numbers can fluctuate, give or take. However, those are like kind of like the standards. So at any given time, he should be able to have access to 90 degrees and 70 degrees. Sometimes it drops to like 67 on his cool side, and sometimes his warm side is like 93, like at the warmest. Like I said, you just need to keep it within that range as best as you can. Here in Maine, it gets very cold in the winter, and we do have original 1850 windows for now at least. And so we had a little space heater in here at all times during the winter just to make sure that his cool side never got below ideally 70. And we seem to be able to keep that pretty well. And then, so his humid hide, I normally just spray it when I know he's about to shed, and you can tell just by the way that they get all kind of dull looking. And I just give it a good spray for multiple days and then I spray the whole enclosure as well. But they definitely need access to a humid hide. And if you have a leopard gecko who either sheds a lot for whatever reason or has trouble and gets stuck every shed, I just personally, and it's just like my personal like new to the hobby advice would be to spray his humid hide every single day. And by that I mean take the lid off, spray the paper towel, make sure it's nice and wet. I spray the top of the lid, and then I put the lid back on. I would do that every single day forever until they don't have problems shedding. Another thing that the deep heat projector is good at is to help shed. I honestly can't give you all the details how it's written out on their website, but the deep heat projector just penetrates through more layers of skin than anything else. It acts like the sun to them. It helps them have more energy. So you'll see your gecko a lot more. He'll be out and about because his body temperature is going to be at a good steady pace. It helps them digest their food so much better because it penetrates through their skin more. And that is how reptiles digest, is they go somewhere warm so that their body can do what it needs to do to digest. Now I'm having a blank of there's multiple reasons. But those are some pretty big ones, I think, at least. As far as substrate, so like I said, when we got him the rescue, we got him from used paper towels, and I'm not like against that at all, to be honest. However, it's not very like enriching. Or doesn't have like, it's not like, maybe that's not the right way to say it, but it doesn't give them as much enrichment as something like substrate would be. I mean, obviously in the wild, they're not walking on paper towels. They're not walking on necessarily this either. This is cocoa fiber. It's very good substrate. However, obviously it's not natural soil. But it's just what I had, and I knew I was going to upgrade because we will be doing bioactive. And I'll get into that another video once we get all of our stuff. So I say keep up the paper towels if that's what you think is the easiest, because it's not a bad option. However, substrate is good for multiple reasons. It's good for humidity. It's good for their like bones and their muscle mass because it gives them enrichment and helps them, you know, have different levels of walking and that sort of thing. But so yeah, so paper towels, cocoa fiber. You can also DIY your own bioactive substrate. I don't have any advice on that because I've never done it, but I've watched multiple videos about it. And then obviously you can go bioactive, which is what we're going to do. And we will be purchasing through a reputable source like website who specializes in bioactive everything, but substrate as well. Things that you most definitely should not use for substrate would be reptile carpet. Once again, I mean, they don't live on reptile carpet, so why put them on reptile carpet? However, there's other reasons where bacteria can grow on it, even if you clean it when you're supposed to. Their little claws can get stuck in it. They can rip off a toenail. Their teeth can get stuck in it and have, like, when they're eating. It's just not a good option. Also the the carpet that like kind of mimics sand and rockiness, also not a good thing. They can, you know, eat part of those little pebbles that are glued down to it. And I just feel like that can't be comfy on their little soft, cute little feet. And then also the number one no-no would be calci sand. Just terrible. I don't know. I feel like you should YouTube it and research all about how terrible calci sand is, which is what reptile stores tell you to get. Sorry, not reptile stores, pet stores. Not all pet stores, but you know the ones. They tell you to get it, and it's just a big no-no. And then I kind of already covered this, but just to kind of go over again, you need 3 hides: warm, humid, cool. The more the better though, but 3 minimum. These guys like to feel secure, safe. If I were to be keeping this, I would be decking this out with branches and hides and all kinds of things because they like to feel safe. They like to feel secure. They like to feel like they can go hide somewhere. And it just makes them happy and less stressed out, which makes for a good, healthy leopard gecko. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it kind of may seem a little rambly. There's just so much information to put out there. This one is definitely not in depth. It just kind of hit the bullet points on what you really need to have a leopard gecko. It's not as simple as get a tank, you know, get some water, get a couple hides and put them in. It goes a lot more into depth than that. And then from there, you know, you can go as extreme as you like, but the bare minimum isn't what I just explained. It's what I'm trying to say is the bare minimum isn't just a tank, a hide, and some water. I feel like this would be the bare minimum of what your leopard gecko needs, and then from there you can go up. This is, by the way, a 20-gallon long. It's what he came with. I honestly feel like it is it's the minimum size that they suggest. And although I think personally it is small, I can see how this could definitely home your leopard gecko. But like I said, if I were to keep him in this, I would be adding a lot more things to it. But I mean, larger than 20 gallons is definitely better. We are getting an 80-gallon, and it is due to ship very soon. We've been waiting. We ordered it on January 15th, and we've just been excited and waiting for it. And like I said, I will definitely be posting a video of me building it and getting it all set up, getting it bioactive, getting all of his hides and just all the decorations. I hate to call them decorations because it's all like realistic stuff, but just getting it all filled with the things he needs. We're going to do live plants, and it's just going to be great for him. And like I said, I can tell he's a little explorer. During the hours that he is active, he is just all over the place, wandering, exploring, and it's gonna be really good for him. And yeah, I'll just show you the little timer that we have for the light. It's just a super inexpensive from like Lowe's. I don't know, it's maybe like $6 or $7. And then you just like pick what hours you want it on and off. And so it's just a little timer. Once it gets to those spots where you push these down, turns on the light. Once it gets to the spots that aren't pushed down, turns the light off. Super simple and inexpensive. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you at least learned something. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. And I just hope to be able to make more and more videos, just getting good information out there. Like I said, I am a new reptile owner. I guess I shouldn't say reptile owner. I'm a new leopard gecko owner. Like I said, I did have a desert tortoise for about 3 years, which I loved, and I can go into that more in a different video. But I just want to learn more and more, and just want to get the info out there so that people can keep their leopard geckos as healthy and as happy as I feel like Apollo is. So we'll see you next time.